Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRNAM for Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. And our top story today, a breakthrough in autism research. And joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Dr. Haitham Amal from Hebrew University. Dr. Amal, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning. Well, Dr. Amal, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah, and you were just remarking off camera. This topic we're going to talk about, which is a breakthrough, a real research breakthrough when it comes to autism. It has drawn international interest for you. Do you just want to comment on that for a second, sir?
Yeah, so actually, the paper that we were working on this for the last 4 years, but actually the idea, was born almost a decade ago, like nine or 10 years ago, made a lot of, extraordinary press all over the world because of the importance of identifying novel mechanisms in autism. So we are very aware, and the scientific community is very aware of the fact that only a few molecular mechanisms are known in autism. And my lab and I are very proud to be one of, the groups in the world to discover a real novel mechanism.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this in a few minutes, but I think according to the CDC, the date that we're recording this, I think 1 in 30, 1 in 36 children are diagnosed with autism. This is certainly something, sir, that's been on the rise, and I would have to think that around the world this has been on the rise as well.
Indeed, the number that you indicated in the United States are 1 to 36. In Europe is almost 1 to 65. In Israel, almost 1 to 85. And worldwide, it's 1 to 100. We are talking about a very common disorder that we need to understand why it's happening.
Yeah, and up to this point, there really, there are different treatment methods for autism, a lot of therapy and coaching and therapeutic ways to deal with people who have this personality or this disorder. But you and the team have really come up with a connection here, and I want to get you to describe it, but then it has to do with nitrous oxide. Is that correct, sir?
Not nitric oxide, yeah.
Nitric oxide. So tell us a little bit about, I was going to say, I've been to a lot of Grateful Dead concerts, so of course nitrous was on top of my mind. But let's talk about nitric oxide. How does this impact the brain? And let's talk about this breakthrough a little bit more.
Yeah, so this study and the idea started back when I was a postdoc at MIT in Boston. And I was a postdoc at the lab of Professor Steven Tenenbaum, who was one of the co-discoverer that nitric oxide is produced in our cells, in our human cells. And there at MIT, we discovered that there are specific proteins that are modified by nitric oxide in autism. So from the day one that I started my position as a professor at the Hebrew University, Faculty of Medicine, we started to look whether nitric oxide is elevated in clinical blood samples from kids of low functioning autism. We looked for nitric oxide in stem cells of autistic kids, and we also looked for nitric oxide in brain tissues of mouse models of autism that have a specific mutations that are correlated with autism. In all of these, we found increase of nitric oxide. And then we were motivated to start developing a drug to reduce the nitric oxide in the brain and see whether the behavioral deficits are reversed or not. And happily, we, in this work that was published in Advanced Science a month ago, we discovered that when you reduce nitric oxide in the brain, the autistic features are, autistic-like features in mouse models are reduced. So we're talking about social deficits, anxiety-like behavior, novelty seeking, repetitive behavior, and other features.
Yeah, and this obviously it's a breakthrough because, as we were saying, up to this point, scientists, clinicians, doctors really didn't understand how what led to autism. We just know that the diagnosis is increasing. So this has significant implications. I think the parents out there watching, probably, and adults watching who have this disorder, probably really appreciative of this and looking for an opportunity to eventually take this therapeutic process and apply it to their loved ones.
Indeed. So I just want to add a little bit of what you said. The scientific community and the medical community are very aware of the genetic background of autism. We know that hundreds of mutations now associated with autism, but the additive value that my lab and our work is adding is that we are looking on the molecular and the biochemical changes in the brain, and we are think as pharmacologists in order to know how we can alter these biochemical changes by pharmacology and by small molecules and drugs.
Dr. Amal, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the potential, this breakthrough treatment for people with autism. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
Well, Dr. Amal, thanks so much for staying with us this morning. Really appreciate you hanging around for segment number 2.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with you.
Yeah, this is amazing, and congratulations to you and the team for this breakthrough. And I think, as I said in the first segment, a lot of parents, a lot of loved ones really looking at this very positively. So with all the work that you've done, sir, what about next steps? How do you take this, for example, and I don't know if the right word is, deliver it to mass populations around the world?
Yeah, so based on these results, based on this extensive work that was done in the past 4 years, that by the way was funded by only by research grants such as the American Department of Defense funded us, the Eagles Autism Foundation of the Philadelphia Eagles teams funded us, the Israeli Science Foundation funded us. So all of these foundation and funding agencies, research funding agency, I of course acknowledge them for this.
Sure.
And but based on this work, we now have 2 different disciplines. The third discipline is a therapeutic approach. So together with American Pharma Company that declared the collaboration between us, the Hebrew University, me, myself, and the American NASDAQ company Beyond Air, we are together now starting a new avenue to develop therapeutic targets. According to the company, we are aiming to start first drug in human in 2025. And we are doing a lot of efforts together, my lab and the company, to take this forward as soon as possible and as accurate as possible. On the other hand, we are also trying to diagnose autism through biological-based laboratory tests. And based on this, I established a startup company named Point 6 Bio that actually trying to identify biomarkers in the blood that can lead to the diagnosis of autism. So as you know, today, there's no therapeutic pharmacological intervention for autism, and also there is no laboratory-based tests for autism. All the diagnoses are based on clinical observation, subjective observation by clinicians and therapists. So we are going in 2 different and actually parallel pathways based on therapeutics and diagnostics.
I want to talk about the application in a second, sir, but let me ask you, is there a way, just taking all this research, to figure out how, what we need to do, like to prevent more diagnoses of autism? Like, obviously you're doing work to create a test, that it's a non-clinician test, and you're doing something to help, treat autism, but is there a way to actually prevent a child or an adult from initially being diagnosed as autistic?
So unfortunately, the field lacks this kind of research. Our observation, personal observation, is that in case that we establish the hypothesis of nitric oxide, we are aiming to in the far future to develop a tool that can identify the levels of nitric oxide, while pregnancy, and then we may give any therapeutic drug for it. But it is, I'm very realistic. I can tell you that it is very far from being developed. But this is kind of an idea. As I said, idea started, can start and may lead to a breakthrough throughout the years. But today we don't know exactly what are the reasons that lead to autism. There are genetic factors, there are environmental factors, there are a combination of both. So unfortunately, we are still learning this.
And last question, sir, and I don't want you to give away any trade secrets, but in terms of the delivery mechanism for the treatment, is it injection? Is it a pill? Is it inhalant? How do you Do you have a feel for how that would be delivered? And is it something you take every day, quarter? I mean, I know you have to do a lot of human testing, but any thoughts around that?
Yeah, so it is still early to talk about this, but I can tell you that we are thinking in two pathways or two different route of administrations. The first is giving a subcutaneous injection once in a week or twice a week, or to give an oral administration once a day. But I think the first option would be the first in order, and then developing an oral administration.
And in terms of the human testing, sir, is there a way to become a member of the trial? So if people are watching this, they have a loved one, maybe they're near you and can participate. How are you interested, and how would they find out about participating in the trials?
Yeah, it is very early to talk about it, but I would suggest them to follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn, Facebook, and then can get all of my news and our new development, and let's hope for good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dr. Amal, we're going to leave it there. Congratulations on the success for you and the team, and look forward to having you back on the program again very soon, sir.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content, visit our website, and of course, all of our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow with another edition of BRN AM. We'll have some very special guests, of course. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.